and thank you to you all for being here. In Tennessee, this has been an issue where there's been a lot of conversation about it. And Mr. Berchtold, thank you for your time yesterday to talk about this. As I told you, we've got a lot of people that are very unhappy with the way some of this has been approached. And there is frustration. We talked yesterday about the bots and how they impact Ticketmaster's operations, and you have blamed bot attacks on causing the crash during the Taylor Swift ticket sales, and ticket vendors seem to view bot attacks as normal to their operations. And Chair Durbin had mentioned, and of course we all know the Bots Act is something when I was in the House that got passed, signed into law. Senator Schumer had carried that over in the Senate. The FTC has only enforced this once, and they've had the authority to do this since 2016. So this is an unacceptable situation. Senator Blumenthal and I are going to do some more work on this at the Commerce Committee, at the Consumer Protection Subcommittee. But I do have a couple of questions. I've got about 4 questions, Mr. Berchtold, and I want to move quickly through this, so don't try to just run the clock out on me, which I don't appreciate that. So the data that you collect. Now, there's a 2019 report that showed that Ticketmaster's app has more downloads and more active users than any of its competitors. And I bet if I went down, everybody would shake their head yes, that is correct. And you have the most monthly active user growth that anyone is seeing. So, and I want you to submit the answers to this to me in writing. But let's take the Orange Bowl app, which I downloaded last month, taking my grandsons to the Orange Bowl. Go Vols, a big win there. That app is powered by Ticketmaster. Now, when you use that app, you can purchase parking, official merchandise, access travel sites. So you are getting a lot of consumer data and consumer information. So I want to know, what are you doing with that data? Now, you told me yesterday you block about 90% of the bot attacks that you get, but that's a failing grade. And we know that and there ought to be people you can get some good advice from, because our critical infrastructure in this country, whether it is utilities, electric, water, power, banking services, credit card processors, payment processors, healthcare companies, you know what? They get bot attacks every single day by the thousands. By the thousands. And they have figured it out, but you guys haven't. This is unbelievable. You ought to be able to get some good advice from some people and figure this out. So what are you doing with the information? As you get this bot attacks, are they coming in here and scooping up consumer information? When consumers buy tickets from StubHub and they're required to return to Ticketmaster to have their order fulfilled, are you getting their data? And what are you doing with it? Are you then sharing it with these other vendors? What kind of protections are around it? How are you safeguarding this? So I would like a response to that in writing from you, because that is going to determine how we move forward. The FTC has the responsibility. They have the authority, but you, sir, are responsible to the consumers. You're controlling 70%, 80% of the ability of consumers to access tickets, to sporting events, to concerts. And when I run into an entertainer, and Mr. Lawrence, you need to come to Nashville.
We've been there. We just played a couple months ago.
Come on back. Make it your home.
Sure thing.
People love Tennessee. But, you know, we need to have an answer to this. Yes, the FTC has the authority. Yes, the legislation was signed into law. I agree that they are not exercising it. But how many times have you called the FTC and said, we need your help?
Yes, Senator. We will submit in writing the answers to your questions that you requested.
How many times have you called the FTC and say, help me with this?
We worked with the FTC on an investigation. I believe it was late 2019 or 2020. We obviously during COVID
So you called them
shut
once?
down.
You called them once and said, help me out?
That was the time that we were able to have the information, work with them to get prosecution.
Why is it that you cannot identify a bot attack? You told me yesterday you have a hard time distinguishing between a bot attack and a consumer. But the local power company down here that is not the billion-dollar company you are, they can tell when they've got a bad actor in their system. They figured out how to define a bot in their system, but you can't? Do we need to make certain you have better people around your IT team?
Yes, Senator, it is absolutely an ever-going arms race in terms of fighting the bots. These are bots that are not trying to generally break into our system. They're bots that are trying to impersonate people to get tickets on an automated basis faster and putting true fans at a disadvantage.
It is American consumers, true fans, yes, American consumers. Let me just say, we do appreciate you all being here, and we need, Music City USA needs you all to be successful. And this is an issue of fairness, whether it is the consumer, whether it's the artist, whether it is the production manager. This is an issue of fairness. And right now, we have a system that is not fair. Now, I want to pick up on the issue of spec tickets. And Mr. Berchtold, you and I discussed this a little bit yesterday. And you mentioned the Madonna tour, that already there are tickets available on the secondary market. This is pre-sale, pre the window opening. You have Zach Bryan, who is not working with you but on his tour, but you said the secondary market has those tickets. Well, as I thought about this last night and thought about our discussion and worked on my questions, I thought, why is it that these secondary markets are so brazen that they would go ahead and put these tickets up for sale? Doesn't make sense, does it? But you know what does? What it does is raise the question, is it that the bots have become so aggressive and so certain that you're not going to do anything to them, that you're not going to shut them down, that they just move forward and advertise things they have not yet purchased because they have figured out you will not call the FTC. You will not report them. You have not built the kind of cyber safeguards that are necessary to protect the consumer, and you are building a treasure trove of information on these consumers. I bet you even have a marketing arm that takes all that data. You know somebody is partial to some certain type tours, and then you're marketing back to them, sending them notifications. But let's talk about this. Why is it that you believe these sites have moved forward with advertising tickets that they have not yet purchased? Why are they so confident?
Senator, I agree with your assessment that those markets that put up
Okay, you agree
tickets,
with my
yes.
assessment,
Yes.
sir.
Yes.
So what are you going to do about this? Are you going to strengthen your protections so that these bots cannot get in there? You know, you told me yesterday, let's talk about this a little bit. You told me yesterday that you have a difficult time deciding what is a bot and what is a consumer. So why is it that you have not developed the algorithm to sort out what is a bot and what is a consumer? Why is it that the bank can do it? As I said earlier, why is it the local power company can do it, but you can't?
Yes, Senator, we're continually investing in advanced bot detection. It's an arms race. There is so much money
how
at
much
stake.
have you invested, and what is your timeline for securing your site so that consumers know their data is secure with you? When are you planning to have this done?
Yes, we've invested over $1 billion over the past decade. In addition to specific technology to stop bots, we've developed products such as Verified FAN, which is intended.
Okay, as we talk about Verified FAN, why is it that that data is not protected to the point to prohibit these incursions and these hacks coming in to that information? And as you have pre-cleared these individuals and cast them as verified fans, then what are you doing to protect their information? How do they know that their information is secure on your site?
Yes, Senator, using Verified FAN, the bots haven't gotten in, but that does not stop them from attacking the system.
Well, you told us that with the Taylor Swift instance, that it was the Verified FAN that was a problem. So is Verified FAN safe, or is Verified FAN not safe? I mean, what are we looking at here?
Verified FAN was effective in making sure that the tickets that were sold to fans. It was successful in that we are compliant with CCPA, with GDPR in terms of data security. It was an issue of the load on the system from the combination of bots pretending to be humans to try to get in.
So you were underestimating the popularity of a Taylor Swift concert and ticket. Now, let me ask you about this. This is another thing I thought about from our conversation yesterday. You said that the only course of action for Ticketmaster in identifying a buyer is a bot is after the transaction is completed. You said you couldn't tell until after, because I discussed with you how some fans will have tickets in their cart, and then during the checkout process, the tickets leave the cart. And I asked why you wouldn't empty the cart of the bot. And you said, well, it's hard to figure this out until the transaction is completed. So why is it that you can only do that? Why can you not algorithmically flag these suspicious transactions during the sale process? Because once they've got that, then the consumer can't get that ticket. Once they are into somebody's cart and you are processing that card, then that's not available to the consumer. So, sir, with all due respect, you have not solved your problem by saying, well, we flag it at the end. The issue is you have got to beef up your systems, your verification systems. You have to strengthen your cyber protections. It sounds like you need some good advice on how to follow some of the protections that are there for financial institutions and credit card processors and healthcare institutions and utilities. And we are hopeful that you're going to be able to do that. As I said, we need all of you to be successful and to be fair. And by the way, Mr. Lawrence, come to Nashville.